Hello friends, this is Bilal Heather and this is the sixth part of this video series. In this video part we are going to learn about comparison operators and how can we use them to perform comparison operations. So um, before I actually go ahead and do that, I want to talk about this one constant value which I forgot to talk about, and it's very important before we learn about comparisons. And this value is called um, Boolean value, and it is either true or false. So it can be in two states. It can be either true or it can be either false. So it's also a type of constant value which we call Boolean, and it's very important in comparisons because it helps us. It basically comes as a result of a comparison. So now that you know this Boolean value, let's go ahead and talk about comparisons. So I have listed um, quite a few comparison operators here, and we'll learn them by examples. But first, let's talk about them. So this one is a greater than operator, and it tells whether one value is greater than the other or not. Okay, so if I come down here and I type const uh, result and I set it equal to 5 is greater than 4, right? So let's see what um, what will be the value of result. So if I run this, so we get true. So it basically means that indeed 5 is greater than 4. So this comparison operator helps us, as you saw, in checking whether one value is greater than the other or not. Okay, if it's greater than the second, then it's going to return true. If it's not greater than the second, it's going to return false. So let's say if I do 4 is greater than 4, I'm checking if 4 is greater than 4, so it's returning false. That means 4 is not greater than 4. That's why the result is false. Okay, we also have less than operator, and excuse me, it's also a comparison operator. It tells whether the first value is less than the second value. So if I change this to less than and I run this program, it's going to say false because 4 is not less than 4. That is why it's telling me that it's false. So this comparison results in false. Okay, um, and if I do 3 is less than 4, so which is correct, 3 is indeed less than 4, so it's going to return me true. So that's how less than operator works. Now let's see what is greater than or equal to operator and how does it work. So if I say 3 is greater than, or let me say 4 is greater than 4, you know that it's going to result false, right? But if I say greater than or equals to, this basically tells that uh, if it's greater than this number or it's equal to this number, in if one of these two condition is true, then return me true. Okay, so if I run it now, it's going to return true because 4 is equals to 4. Okay, so if the first value is greater than the second value, return me true, or 4 is first value is equals to the second value, then return me true. So it's basically two things in one. So it's going to check if first value is greater than the second value, and it's also going to check at the same time if first value is equals to the second value. So if one of these two conditions is true, the whole thing is going to return true. Okay, so similarly, um, less than or equals to works, and if I put less than here and I run the same code, you'll see that it's going to return me true because even in this example there is an equal to here, and which tells this comparison to if both of both of these values are equal, then return true. Okay, so that's how it works. The next one is not equal to. So if in my program I want to check whether a value is not equal to the other one, and I want to use it in my program, so that's why this not equals to operator is used, and it basically returns true if the first one is not equals to the second one, right? So 4 is not equals to 4. No, false, because 4 is equal to 4. So um, that is why it's returning false, because your comparison is resulting in false value. Okay, so I'm checking whether it's not equal to the second value. If it's not equal to the second value, then it's only then it's going to result true. So if I say 5 is not equals to 4, I'm asking my program basically 5 is not equals to 4, and it's going to tell me yes, it's not equal to 4, and yeah. The next one is equals to. So if I want to ask my program um, 5 equals to 4, then it's going to return me false because it's not equal. 5 is not equals to 4, right? So that's how we perform comparison operations between constant values. we we don't just perform these between numbers, we can also perform these with characters or strings, right? And that is why these two things are important here, because if I do this, if I perform a comparison between some text, let's say user input is this value, and I want to check if I have already something stored in my program and I'm checking it against it. Let's say it's the same value, so I'm checking a string against string, so it's going to return me true because this string equals this string. But if you do this, if you put a number inside a string and then you compare it with a number without the double quotes, so this is a character string, but this is a constant number, right? This is a string constant and this is a number constant, right? So if I run this program, it's going to say that it's true, but they're not true. This is a string and this is a number. That is why this operator is there and it's used, because if we want to make sure two things are exactly equal, then we use this. So if there is one string and the other one is number, and we want to make sure that these two things are only equal if um, both are numbers or both are strings, only then we want it to be equal. So in that case we use this operator, which is strictly equal to, and if I run now, it's going to say false because this is string and this is a number. And similarly we use this operator to strictly not equal to in our programs. So if yeah, so exactly opposite to what we saw now. So if I do this, it's going to return me true because it's strictly not equal to one another. So I know it might be um, a little tough, um, especially if you are a beginner, to understand these comparison operations or operators. But if you will sit down there and if you will write a few example for this, few coding example for this comparison operator here, greater than, and few example for this lesson, and you do some practice by writing your own code, you will be able to understand all of them and it's not going to be difficult for you. So I want you to do this exercise and do one example for each of these operators, because these it's going to be very important in later videos. If you don't understand these things, then you won't be able to understand my next videos. So make sure you understand all these operators, and then we will move on to learning um, more operators, and we soon want to write some actual applications so that we can build something for other people to use. Okay, so for now we are just learning basic things. So yeah, so this is all for now. I'll see you next time.